Hi, I am Bram Luiten from Admire. This video assumes that you are familiar with the structure of the DSpace 7 Testathon test plan. If you are not, head over to the linked video that introduces the test plan. In the next few minutes, I will provide some tips and tricks for people who are interested in contributing additional test definitions. First of all, make sure you are familiar enough with the existing tests so you can avoid adding duplicates. For example, if you are interested to contribute additional tests for administrator functionality, first go over the ones already categorized as admin and check if what you're about to add isn't already there. Let's say we want to add a test for the new processes administrator feature, and we've established that this test doesn't exist yet. We add our new test at the bottom of the test plan under a test ID that isn't used yet. First of all, we identify the most appropriate category for our new test. Don't be intimidated by this big list of categories. In this case, admin seems to be the most appropriate one to me, given that I can't find a specific category for something that looks related to the processes feature. To accurately fill out the link, we need to know what the desired URL path is for the page where we want our test to start. In my case, I want to make a test for viewing the results of processes output. So let's go to the DSpace 7 UI to find that link. I'm already logged in as an administrator, and I can find the processes feature in the left side of the admin menu. I see now in the URL bar of my browser that the path to this feature is called /processes, and I copy-paste that part of the link. So back over in my test plan, I will edit this link field and I will put this path, the processes path, between these double quotes. It's not necessary to add a slash before. In order to test whether it works, you can always follow the link and to see whether it opens the page where you want to be. And that's indeed the processes page. Given that we are making an administrator test, I will put the persona to administrator. For my test description, I want a tester to open the page of a random executed process and evaluate what he or she is seeing there. So as a test description, I put click a process ID or name to view the detailed page of process execution. When I go back to the DSpace UI and when I then effectively look at a page like that, I try to imagine what the tester should be seeing and to evaluate, and that he or she can evaluate what he or she is seeing there. It looks like the start and finish dates are filled out and that I can get the log output for this process in the same way, either by downloading these output files or by clicking on the Retrieve Process Output button. So therefore I get to a test description where I say start and end dates should be filled out and the contents from output files should match the contents of what you see when you press Retrieve Output button. If you see things and if you're not sure whether what you see is intended or abnormal behavior when designing these tests, don't hesitate to ask for guidance on the DuraSpace Slack channels, in particular the Angular UI channel. If you want, you can already fill out observations for your own test. If I go back to the overview page of processes, I see that some processes are missing their start times and that for one particular process execution, I even have nothing filled out at all. So this type of information is useful to include in the comment column. Should I extend the same test with more things to do for the user? For example, click the Create Similar Process button. There is no hard guideline for how many actions or how much expected behavior you can pack into a single test. But as a rule of thumb, try to keep it limited. This way, if somebody ends up marking non-compliance, it should be clear what exactly is broken. And as a last piece of advice, some tests may require some preparatory setup work. In order to avoid repeating the same descriptions of setup work over and over again for different tests, you could start the description of your test with first execute the description of tests and then with a specific number. If these steps are the same as what you need for your test, then you can just refer to another one. For example, this could be the submission of an item where you want to specify fields to be filled out the same way in multiple tests. So that way you can describe it once and then in your descriptions refer to descriptions of that other test. With all of these tips and tricks in mind, you can now request edit rights on the DSpace 7 test plan and start your contributions to the DSpace 7 test definitions. Good luck!